Your relationship with money is going to be with you no matter who's in office, no matter what the inflation rate is, no matter what job you're in or what your marital status is. So the clearer you are with your personal relationship with money and how you adjust to those anxiety moments and stressful moments and exciting moments that happen, the better off you're going to be.
Welcome back to The Important Part, a podcast about achieving financial independence by making smart investments in yourself and your portfolio. I'm Liz Thomas, your host and head of investment strategy at SoFi. Today, we're going to start with some real talk. Your investment returns might have less to do with your stock picks and more to do with your emotional relationship with money. Think about the last time you made a bad financial decision. Maybe you panic sold when the market dipped, or you bought a stock at all-time highs because of FOMO, or maybe you avoided looking at your portfolio for months because it felt too overwhelming. These aren't knowledge problems, they're emotional problems. And that's where today's guest comes in. Erika Wasserman is one of only 100 certified financial therapists in the United States. She's CEO and founder of Your Financial Therapist and author of the brand new book, Conversations with Your Financial Therapist, Stories and Scripts to Grow Your Money Mindset. Erika earned her expertise the hard way, working full-time in corporate consulting and marketing while raising 3 daughters as a single mom. She is the definition of how resilience and hard work can lead to success.
This podcast is sponsored by SoFi to help you get your money right. And it's for informational purposes only. Nothing in this program is a recommendation from SoFi. You should not rely on this program for financial, legal, or tax advice or recommendations. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the institutional views of SoFi or its affiliates.
Erika, welcome to The Important Part.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to start with some of the backstory, because you weren't born a financial therapist. You didn't even start your career that way. You started your career, well, to walk us through it, you started your career in what?
Well, I'll give you a little backstory. By the way, nobody is born with, we don't inherit our relationship with money. It's built. Right? So all of us have spent time building our relationship with money at a young age. For me, it came easy because my dad made it so easy to talk about. He noticed that I liked math. Yes, I was one of those cool kids.
Yeah, I loved math. Still do.
See, there's cool girls out there that like math.
I don't care. I'm proud of being a dork.
Yes. And so he noticed that in me. And so we were doing math problems, going to the grocery store, driving to school every morning. And so for me, talking about money became natural. And so I graduated with a degree in finance, which was the logical thing for me to do because I liked math and I was comfortable talking about it. And when I heard financial therapy, it was like, stop me in my tracks. This is exactly what I want to do. I can help people, like my dad helped me, to have the openness to talk about money. And once I heard the term financial therapy, I was hooked.
Yeah. Okay. So you used to work, though, at IBM.
Yes.
There's something in there about an organic food industry piece that was like you made a lot of different stops along the way, but walk us through let's say the first few steps of your career.
Okay. First of all, I've never met anybody with a straight path.
Yeah.
Have you?
No.
Yeah. So zigzags are normal in any career at any age that you're at also. So like take a deep breath and recognize that no matter where you are or what you're doing. There's new opportunities for like a fresh breath for you to change jobs or positions or with the knowledge that you have today. So for me, I went right into consulting with IBM. And we were talking before we started about that first big paycheck. And for me, I was 23 and I called my dad up and I was like, oh my God, I'm rich. And he's like laughing at me. And I'm like, I'm buying a BMW. And he's like, yeah, no, you're not. You know, you're going to drive your Honda Accord till the wheels fall off. And that's exactly what I did. But in that moment, I felt rich.
Yeah.
So I started working in IBM and lived up to the I've been moved. So 9 times in roughly a decade that I was with them.
Never heard that before.
That's talk to anybody like in the 80s, 90s at IBM. Every time you get a promotion, they would move you cities. So I had the opportunity to live in New York City, Japan for 2 years, China, back to the U.S. And now I had plenty of opportunities also because I then met my girl's father. That gives you a hint.
Right. Foreshadowing. Yeah.
We moved into an apartment we probably couldn't afford in New York City. We merged money. We expanded money for kids. We changed cultures and currency. So talking about your financial relationship is built. It wasn't inherited. It was built in all of those moments.
Yeah.
And so I chose for my career to shift, to leave consulting at a big company to help raise kids, our kids. And in that time, I've found working with entrepreneurs gave me more flexibility to work from home. Before, working from home was a fad as it is now, or, normal that it is now. And so that's how I ended up in the organic food, because my daughter, we were living in China and I saw mom whip out the pouch baby food. And I was like, what is that? I need to know. And it was a British company called Ella's Kitchen. So I started importing it and working with entrepreneurs, especially from a food scientist brain, is very different than the financial point of business.
Yeah.
And so I was doing financial therapy way before I even knew the term financial therapy.
Well, I think a lot of people in this industry consider themselves financial therapists. I think because you do end up in conversations with people, talking them off a ledge, talking them maybe onto a ledge in some circumstances. There's a lot that goes into it, and you end up in a very close relationship with those clients. But this is different. First of all, it's an actual certification. It's an actual thing that you went to school for. There are 100 total financial therapists in the
certified
financial therapists.
There's 5 universities that have programs right now in financial therapy, and different people use it for different things. So some of the advisors that were in my Kansas State program didn't necessarily get certified in it. They used it as part of their practice. Because they come to your advisors or your accountant, I get a lot, is I've never talked to anybody before. The advisor is the only person that you're talking to. So guess what? They're sitting across the table from you, crying, sharing intimate moments and secrets of family or themselves that they haven't talked to anybody else before. And a lot of financial advisors are really good at being how people. You know what a how person is?
How to do something?
Yes.
How to execute on a plan.
I call them a how and a wow, right?
Okay.
So your creatives are your wow. Wow, let's build a new set, right?
Yeah.
Wow, let's go on vacation or buy a house in Hawaii. And then you have the how person going, who's going to vacuum the floors with all the sand? And
I'm the how person for sure. How do we execute on that? Love the plan. How do we execute on those details?
Right. And so most advisors are. And so now when you have somebody on the emotional side sitting across from you, advisors get uncomfortable and you're not trained in it. And so that's where I come in. I come in to talk about all the emotions that we have around money. Daniel Kahneman did a study with Harvard, and 90% of our financial decisions are emotional.
Oh, geez.
10% is logical.
We're not as rational as we'd like to believe.
No,
Is that what you're telling
give
me?
me a good sale, and all of a sudden I'm excited, right? Like,
I mean, girl math, and this is not even, I'm not saying this as a gender-based thing, but the whole term of girl math, right?
Yes.
I saved, I don't know, $10 on that sale, so now I can go buy the $50, whatever it is, or whatever the different ways are that we rationalize money in our heads. But to your point earlier, there's a stat, I thought this was really striking. 81% of Americans were taught not to talk about money.
yes.
Let's start there. Because what I'm interested in is, number one, what are the biggest risks of that? And then number two, how do you help people overcome that?
So by not talking about money, it actually impacts your health. When you suppress everything and you don't talk about something, a big secret, what happens?
Explode eventually. Well, everybody handles it differently, I'm sure. But yeah, eventually explode.
It comes out bigger, or I'll equate it to like a toothache. If you ignore it long enough, it becomes a root canal. More painful, more expensive. By not talking about money, we keep it internal. So what happens? Stomach aches. Chest. Like when I have financial stress, it's in my chest. It's in my breathing. Some people goes to a migraine. Sleepless nights. Not showing up for events with family because, over the holidays, maybe you didn't want to buy gifts for everybody, so you just said you couldn't come. Or you overspent to compensate for people to think you're doing okay. And so when we're not discussing it, it actually impacts not just our physical wealth, but our physical health as well. And so how do you get people talking? You just have to do it. You just have to rip the Band-Aid off and start the conversations.
Where do you start, though? Because maybe not everybody has a financial therapist. If there's only 100 of them, chances are most people don't know one.
Right.
So who do they call first, and how do they get that conversation started? And I understand the concept of you just have to just start moving, right?
Yes.
I say that a lot to myself. Just start moving. It will get easier. Getting started is the hardest part. But how do you get started? And see, I'm the how person.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to pick up that phone. Who am I calling? And what's my first sentence?
Okay. So first is who you call is going to be important because you want that person to be somebody you feel safe with.
Mm-hmm.
And so it might not be the person you think that comes to mind first. I'll give a good example. I had a client who kept saying, my brother-in-law works in finance. He's going to help me with my retirement plan. Well, guess what? Years went by. He never helped her with her retirement plan. It wasn't important to him. She needed to find somebody that was just as invested in her as she was in this goal or this dream. And so finding the right person might take a try or two, right? Just like finding the right therapist or the right accountant or, the right dentist might take a try or two. And you could test the waters. What do you think about going into credit card debt over the holidays? Or what do you think about summer vacation? How do you decide on, how many nights to spend or save? And see how the person responds.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something that they're open to, continue the dialogue. Keep going. For me, clients kept coming to me saying, I don't know how to start the conversation, or I can't ask that question.
Right.
So I created these. Let's talk finance cards. I was actually at a bar one night and there was a couple next to me.
This is a bar game.
This is a bar.
I love a bar game.
We could do it anywhere. We'll do it right now. So, and that's what it was. There was a couple next to me on their 10-year anniversary and they're like, I don't want to stare at each other. Like, we know everything. So they bring conversation cards. And that's when I had my wow moment of my like, oh my goodness, let's make these financial conversation cards. So here, so I tell people, pick a card or like go for a walk.
A couples
this
one?
is the couples edition.
But can you do it with a friend?
You absolutely.
If you have debt, how are you handling it? And the how is highlighted in yellow.
Okay.
Why is the how highlighted in yellow?
Because that's the important part. So
That's the name of this podcast, the important part.
See, look at us branding.
Didn't even plan that.
Yeah. Because having debt, especially in a new relationship, it might be a new conversation for you.
Okay.
But how you got it, there's a reason behind it. And if it's, how did you get it and what's your plans to get out of it, is a very different conversation than I'm $35,000 in debt and I just don't open my bills.
Yeah.
That might not be a partner that you want to meet with, right?
So I'll answer this for myself. And I remember a time earlier in my career, there was a time I had student loan debt. I had put myself through grad school and I had some credit card debt, not a lot, but I was using credit cards because I was just like barely scraping by, and I had a car loan and then I had student loan debt. And because I remember a time too thinking about like, I'm never going to get out from under this mountain. So how did I deal with that? Was this the right way to deal with it? Probably not. I made spreadsheet after spreadsheet after spreadsheet. I amortized that in, I don't even know, 11 different ways. What if I pay $50 extra a month? How much faster can I pay it off? And how much will I save in interest? I analyzed it to death. Mm-hmm. And something about that made me feel like I was in more control. But the reality was, at some point, I just had to pay it off. I lived with that debt for about 7 or 8 years before that happened. And it stressed me out every day, every single day. And I would feel guilty for spending money on other things, on things that I thought were luxury items, coffee in the morning or whatever, because I had this debt that was following me around. And I don't miss that moment whatsoever.
Meaning you got out of debt and you stayed out of debt.
I got out of debt and I stayed out of debt. And part of it, like we talked about, you build your money experiences. My experience with that was, it was so stressful for me to be in debt like that once I was out of it, I was like, never again.
Right. And so that is the important conversation that you just shared with me. Mm-hmm. And that's what the cards do, is spark those conversations to how the student loan debt has set you up today to be hesitant to buy a fancier car or, buy that nicer watch or whatever it is and put it on a credit card, mm-hmm. because those feelings, that experience that you had, you didn't want to go back in debt. You also had an action plan, is what I heard. I was the receiver of the message. So if we were playing these cards together as a couple, it's like, oh wait, yes, you had debt, but yes, you handled it and you shifted your mindset.
So you have a book that came out in September called Conversations with Your Financial Therapist. First of all, tell us about writing the book. Why was this such an important message to get out in book form?
I just want people to start the conversation around money. And so many people, like we were talking earlier, are afraid to start the conversation, don't know how to start the conversation. And so for me, I didn't want it just for the corporate clients that I work with or the individuals that could afford private financial therapy. I wanted to get it out to the masses. And I'm an avid reader. So for me, I don't do boring books. To me, a lot of the books are very dry, and that's not who I am. Personality-wise. And so for me, I wanted to make it interesting and relatable and actionable. And I created 7 characters, 7 personas based on clients that I've had over the years and experiences that go through all life, each chapter of like going to credit card debt for the first time. You meet Madison at, 18 or 19 when she gets a nail in her tire. And what happens? The guy at the tire dealership is like, oh, you need 4 new tires, and that's $1,000. Well, she has $37 in her checking account. And the guy, what does he do? Don't worry. And just slides over the credit card. Congratulations. Now she's in credit card debt. And so it takes Madison, and you meet her when she gets married, merging money and separating money and all of these different life events, talking to aging parents, hiring and firing an advisor. And then actually there's scripts in the back of how that conversation could go.
Okay.
So Madison calling up the credit card company to say, can I lower my APR?
Okay.
Because people don't see healthy, productive financial conversations.
It's not modeled.
No.
It's not part of a natural societal model. You have something in there that you call the money mindset. Talk to us about that. There's 5 steps.
Yep.
What are these steps? Who needs this? What are these steps? And why are we doing it?
Okay. Who needs it? Anybody who's ready to work on the relationship with money. If you're not ready, don't go there, right? But if you have an inkling to say, hey.
What if you're like, I don't need to work. My relationship with money's fine.
Yeah, great.
Okay. So that's the thing. You can have already found enlightenment.
You
with
have,
money.
and I am so happy for you on that. But the millions of people out there that haven't,
right.
This is for you. Financial therapy is new, and when I work with clients, there wasn't a repeatable tool that I could use for all conversations. So I created it. And so it takes the word money, 5 letters, M, make the conversation comfortable. Any idea what that means?
No.
Okay.
Open a bottle of wine.
That could be it. Think about the last time you had a productive conversation with the person that you want to talk to. If it's a sibling over inheritance, if it's a romantic partner, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, your kids, when did you last have a productive conversation? Was it sitting on the couch after dinner? Was it Sunday morning, driving, on a walk? Like, your tone of voice is important, right?
So set up the circumstances for success.
So make the conversation comfortable is number 1. Time, tone, temperature. Morning, you have less decision fatigue than evening.
Yeah, that is for sure true. Yeah.
And so by creating it, making the conversations comfortable, people and safe will want to do it again. The other one is O, 1 question at a time. This is not, let's throw the kitchen sink in. Well, your mother still owes us $800 from 7 years ago when we helped buy tires for her car. No, we're focused on how we're going to pay for our kids for college. Whatever the conversation is, write it on a sticky note, put it in the table between the 2 of you.
The 1 question.
The 1 question.
Okay, I need to do that.
Or if you're co-parenting, picture of your kid. This is what we're focused on. Are we going to pay for travel soccer this year? This is why we're doing it, which leads to N, nurtured shared goals.
Okay.
If you don't have buy-in from all parties, the goal's not going to be achieved.
Yeah.
So I would say to you, why is it important? For me, spending time with my family on the summer is our once a year. Why is it important to you? Well, it's important to you because it's important that we raise our kids with certain values, whatever it is, right? But you both need to have nurtured shared goals and state why it's important. Then we go to E, my favorite, probably yours too, because you're a how girl, is evaluate practical solutions. How are we going to pay for college? Okay, set a timer. Let's do 2 minutes of brainstorming separately and then share what we have. Let's see what resources we need. This is the time to start thinking outside the box, crazy ways, solid ways, easy ways to solve the problem. And the last one is just as important, which is why, is say yes to compassion. This is hard conversation for everybody. Everybody might be a little awkward or fidgety, wanting to scream to get out of the room on the inside. And so have compassion for the person you're talking to and have compassion for yourself. After my dad passed away, I sat with my mom, which is tough for a mother and daughter to do, right?
Yeah.
She didn't, after 50 years, it wasn't her role to have financial knowledge. And there were moments where I had to take a deep breath or walk into the kitchen to go get a glass of water. And my compassion for her was there, but also for myself, which meant on the drive home was calling a friend to vent or do whatever, or go for a walk. So having compassion for you and the person that you're having those conversations with will help you engage in the next go around. And then all of a sudden, the next conversation, you're using that money mindset again, setting the tone. Hey, last time we met on the couch, it was great. Let's do this again. I'll see you Tuesday at 2:00.
But that brings up another thing, and we could do this for hours, I think. But that brings up something like the people who are listening who are single, or maybe you're dating. There's some advice out there that's like, you should have these conversations before you get too far into a relationship. Who really does that? I mean, do people, well, right. But I think it's so difficult. Like we give that advice sometimes to people as if like, obviously you should do this. You're going to be so much better off in the future. Nobody's sitting down on their second date like, okay, well now, we liked each other on the first date. So now we got to get into like, I need to see your credit score. But how do you get people to do that?
Here's what you'll notice. I believe in storytelling. So you'll notice maybe the type of restaurant that you're going to, and you can open up the menu and you could say, oh my gosh, growing up, only on your birthday could you order a Shirley Temple or a Coke, right? What did your birthday celebrations look like? What do they look like now? And so all of a sudden you're starting to learn a little bit about their background, about how their spending is happening, without being like, how much did you make? Did you, were you poor as a kid? Those are
What's
very
your debt to equity ratio?
Yes, right? Like those are very direct questions that would put people off guard because we're not used to having them. But storytelling is a lot easier to share.
So let's say you are in a partnership, a couple, a marriage, whatever it is, but you're merging finances or you need to have conversations about money and you need to come to some sort of agreement on how you're living. Let's say one of you is in the financial services industry and one of you is not. And there's a clear difference of maybe knowledge base, experience, mindset, obviously, because of that. How do you advise people to level that playing field? And obviously, I'm asking this because I've experienced this personally. I'm in financial services. My husband is an architect and an artist.
Yes.
So totally different mindset as far as money goes. I'm like data and spreadsheets and execution. And then there's the investing piece that's what I do for a job. So how do you advise people to level the playing field, to make that a conversation that both parties can feel an equal part of?
Here's a beautiful thing about your friend's partnership.
Yeah. This fictitious couple.
Yes. You're the how. Your partner's the wow. And when those two overlap, like the two circles just came together, it's like fireworks, right? Because he's pulling you out to dream bigger, to maybe take bigger chances.
To let go is really the... Yeah.
That's new, right?
Yeah.
And you're helping him achieve those goals by having structure and financial knowledge of where to put in. And so together, those dreams are achieved if you respect each other's skills. And so it goes back to conversations. Because what happens is, in the beginning of a relationship, I respect you. You have this financial knowledge. Well, 5 years later, that person resents you.
Right.
Because
and that's
now
what we're trying to avoid.
all of a sudden you hold these controls they believe when you're just trying to execute the vision that you came up with the way you know how.
Exactly. With your own predispositions, with your own internal scripts, with your own childhood issues.
Well, that's exactly it. We have
all of it.
We everybody, even within the same household, have different backgrounds, experiences, culture, religion, all of that mixed in. Now you get married, you say I love you way before you share your credit score.
Yeah.
And now you're supposed to live in harmony and have respect for each other. And that doesn't happen without communication.
Yeah. Let's talk about, because I think so far we've talked about just like, this is nurture, not nature, your attitudes towards money. You learn them, you build them over time. I certainly come from a place, and I've talked about this on other podcasts before, I was raised by a single mom until I was 9. We were on welfare very early in my life. So money was a source of stress for a very long time. So I'm constantly battling that, like, is there enough? Do I have enough? Am I going to be able to pay for everything? What if catastrophe strikes?
Cambridge did a study that you get your money mindset at 7 years old.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was happening then.
Right. So for your listeners, think of who you were at 7.
Uh-huh.
What did your family dynamic look like? What jobs or career were they in? The ranking of siblings, of where you were. If you were buying lunch, getting the free lunch,
Right.
not eating lunch.
Right.
But that 7-year-old mindset is kind of where it locks in.
Okay. So those early experiences and how they influence, I think, our budgeting decisions, our saving decisions, but also how they influence our investing decisions, because every investor has a predisposition, whether we know it or not.
Correct.
You go into it, and maybe there are some investors listening who do it themselves. There are maybe some listening who have a financial advisor and they don't do as much of it themselves. But in this day and age, the DIY version of investing is really the most popular type. There are a lot of retail investors out there right now, many of whom listen to this podcast, who are trying to get their sea legs about them and understand as they DIY, what are my natural tendencies? What are my triggers? Maybe I don't even know that I had triggers, and then sit back and look at your portfolio like, why did I do that?
Yes to all of that. And it's interesting when you look back at the stocks that you've purchased, is why did you pick them? And it generally is going to go towards an emotional pull. It's a brand that I know. My buddy told me about it. I heard about it on the news from a trusted resource. It might not be only about the numbers. And that's where the emotional pull comes. And if you've made money on it in the past, then great, let's do it again. There's no guarantee that you're going to do it again.
Last big topic. Generally speaking, the world right now, a little anxious. And I would say we talk about it much more openly, which I think is a good thing. We talk about that side of life much more openly, and I think many people discovered that they had more anxiety than they thought. But there's a lot of anxiety just in general about the economy. You were recently on CNBC talking about election season. So we're going to talk a little bit about political anxiety, and I think this is a good time to do it. You were talking about election season and basically managing your emotions through that. So we're obviously talking about money here, managing your money emotions. 2026 is a midterm election year. And I've been talking about 2026 possibly seeing some volatility because of that. That's a pretty normal thing to happen in a midterm election year. You see some of the defensive sectors take over and just things shift around in the market. So what can you tell us about how people can manage their emotions through what is likely to be another politically charged year for the market?
I want to put a big asterisk here. Your relationship with money is going to be with you no matter who's in office, no matter what the inflation rate is, no matter what job you're in or what your marital status is. So the clearer you are with your personal relationship with money and how you adjust to those anxiety moments and stressful moments and exciting moments that happen, the better off you're going to be, because they're all going to come, the good and the bad and the ups and the downs. So here's a couple tips. Take a deep breath, right? When you feel the anxiety coming on or the stress, and move locations. Have a stress chair. What does that mean? The chair that nobody sits in, or the no-no room that we had as a kid growing up, the living room. I don't care if you sit by the garage door and have a seat. Not in your office and not in your bedroom can you stress over money. So if you feel that anxiety build up, go sit in that chair, grab a journal, and even set a timer. It's okay to stress. But while you're journaling, write it all out and then put a T or an F next to it. Is this a true statement or is this a false statement? Is this something that I'm just telling myself? A what if? I'm really good at what ifs, right?
Yeah.
What if this happens or this happens? Well, that's something I can't worry about or come up with an action plan today. The stuff that's true, that's facts, that is the stuff that I need to come up with a plan for. That's when I go into the money mindset and use the E and evaluate practical solutions. That's one way. The other is if you're out and about and those thoughts come to you, name it. So give that voice a name. So
like a person,
like I was good at math.
Rhonda.
Rhonda, Felicia, I was good at math and I was a year ahead, and there was a kid who sat in front of me who was a year behind, and he just kept turning around to bother me. Well, I actually really liked the class. If I kept getting distracted by the cute boy in front of me, the older boy, that would impact my end goal of who I am today. So that voice is that annoying kid that's in your class that keeps trying to distract you from your goals. So pick that kid's name who was in middle school or high school, whoever it was, and as soon as those voices come in, later, Rhonda, I got bigger things to do. And just push it away. Get up and move is the other one. Go for a walk around the block, throw on music, and do a dance party for literally 2 minutes, and
Nobody has to see.
Resets your brain. Or everybody can see. Throw it on a live stream. But just get up and move, and all of a sudden your brain starts...
Trick your physiology. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Because anxiety, stress, name whatever emotions you want, they're all going to come because we're human. And so with it, just have some tools in your back pocket.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Quick lightning round. Best financial decision you ever made?
Investing young.
What's young?
Well, I started as a teenager investing with my dad, but really my 401k, as soon as I graduated and started working with IBM, I put as much away as I could, which will sit me nicely as I get older.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. And my kids, by the way, all have 401ks at this point because they all have jobs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Erika, thank you so much for coming on the show, for doing this really important work for everybody. I think the content that we just covered is useful. I think everybody is going to love it. I certainly learned a little bit even about myself. Go check out Erika's book, Conversations with Your Financial Therapist, Stories and Scripts to Grow Your Money Mindset. It's available everywhere. Yeah?
Everywhere. Yeah.
Anywhere. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
Another episode with so many good takeaways, a couple of my favorites, the first of which is pretty simple, but just start talking, just start doing it and making money a normal part of conversation, getting yourself comfortable with that being a normal part of conversation. And eventually it will become more comfortable, but we do have to just jump into it. And then the second one is that your attitude towards money is going to follow you no matter the environment, no matter who's in office, no matter what the inflation rate is, no matter what's going on around you, your attitude is going to stay with you because it's been built over many, many years. So knowing what your attitude is, knowing what your predispositions are and your internal scripts are, actually help you rewrite those scripts as you move forward. We look forward to bringing you the next episode in 2 weeks. For more from me, read my weekly column in SoFi's newsletter, On the Money, and on the SoFi website, or follow me on X at Liz Thomas Strat. Follow The Important Part wherever you get your podcasts. The Important Part is produced by SoFi in partnership with Sony Podcasts.
Investments are not FDIC insured, are not bank guaranteed, and may lose value. Elizabeth Thomas is a registered representative of SoFi Securities, LLC, and an investment advisor representative of SoFi Wealth, LLC. SoFi Invest is a trade name used by SoFi Wealth, LLC, and SoFi Securities, LLC, offering investment products and services. Robo-investing and advisory services are provided by SoFi Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Brokerage and self-directed investing products offered through SoFi Securities, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. For disclosures on SoFi Invest platforms, visit sofi.com/legal. For a full listing of the fees associated with SoFi Invest, please view our fee schedule.